Hello, it's 12 noon in Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics. First, the headlines. The Election Petition Tribunal in Kaduna State set to deliver judgment in the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate challenging the victory of Governor Obasani of the All Progressives Congress. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Wike, approves the immediate termination of the appointment of 21 heads of parastatals, agencies and government companies of the FCT administration. Plus, Governor Sanwo Olu reads the Riot Act to traders selling along the Red Rail Line corridor. He warns residents to steer clear of the line. And now to the details. The Kaduna State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting at the state capital is set to deliver judgment in the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidate Issa Ashiru against the victory of Governor Obasani of the All Progressives Congress in the 2023 elections. The PDP is challenging the declaration of Governor Sani as the winner of the March 18 governorship polls. In the election, Senator Sani polled a total of 730,001 votes to defeat his closest rival, Issa Ashiru of the PDP, who scored 719,196 votes. PDP and Mr. Ashiru alleged that there were massive irregularities and manipulation of results in favor of Governor Sani in some local governments by INEC. According to them, Senator Obasani did not score the highest number of valid votes cast in the election and ought not to have been returned winner of the election. The Labour Party's candidate, Jonathan Asake, came a distant third with 58,283 votes, while Suleiman Hunkui of the New Nigeria People's Party scored 21,405 votes. While the Labour Party and NNPP accepted the outcome of the election, the PDP and its candidate, Issa Ashiru, rejected the results of the polls, alleging that the Independent National Electoral Commission declared the wrong candidate as winner. The National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal in Enugu State has dismissed a petition filed by the former governor of the state, Chimaroke Namani, of the People's Democratic Party, challenging the victory of Kelvin Chukwu of the Labour Party in the 18th March senatorial election. The three-member panel of judges, headed by Justice Nusirat Umar, held that the petition was vague, lacking in merit, incompetent, generic, and mere academic exercise. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had declared Mr. Chukwu winner of the Senate election for Enugu East District. The LP candidate had polled 69,136 votes to defeat Mr. Namani, a former governor of Enugu State, who scored 48,701 votes. The candidate of the All Progressives Congress for the district, Adaku Ogbu Agwocha, came a third with 8,548 votes. The former governor alleged that the election was marred by overvoting, irregularities, election malpractices, and non-compliance with the 2022 electoral law and election guidelines. Delivering judgment, the tribunal upheld the victory of Mr. Chukwu in the victory and awarded a cost of 500,000 against the petitioners in favor of three respondents, Mr. Chukwu, the Labour Party, and INEC. It was victory for Governor Francis Nwifuru yesterday as the Ebonyi State Governorship Election Tribunal sitting in Abuja affirmed his victory in the March 18, 2023 governorship elections. The three-member panel of tribunal headed by Justice Lekon Ogunmoye dismissed the petitions of the candidate of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA, Mr. Bernard Odo, and that of the People's Democratic Party candidate, Mr. Ifeanyi Odi, for lacking in merit. The petitioners had approached the tribunal to nullify the election of the APC candidate on the grounds that the governor was not qualified to contest the election, neither did he score the highest lawful vote. Our correspondent, Emmanuel Aikele, tells us more.
It is Judgment Day in the Ebonyi State Governorship Election Tribunal sitting in Abuja, and the court premises are filled with supporters of the parties waiting to hear the verdict. Inside the courtroom, counsels to the governor, Mr. Francis Nwifuru, as well as those of the two petitioners, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA, also await the three-member panel to deliver its judgment. The main ground for the petitions of the PDP and ABGA is the alleged non-qualification of the governor to contest the election. First, the panel delivered its judgment in the petition filed by the candidates of the ABGA, Mr. Bernard Odo. The party had additionally alleged that the governor was not qualified to contest the election on the grounds that he was the Speaker of the Ebonyi State House of Assembly on the platform of the PDP instead of the APC, under which he was declared as governor by INEC. In a unanimous judgment, the three-member panel, headed by Justice Lekan Ogumoye, dismissed the petition of the ABGA candidates for lacking in merit. The tribunal held that ABGA failed to show substantial evidence that Governor Nwifuru did not resign his membership of the PDP. The tribunal also held that the petitioner failed to approach the proper court to entertain the issue of membership of a political party.
Next focus now is to get the decision as it is, and the client will know what to do from that point on.
Back in the courtroom, the panel dismissed the petitions of the PDP for lacking in merit.
The court held that the petitioners failed to prove that the governor of Ebonyi State is not a member of the APC, but is instead a member of the PDP, which was what the petitioners had contended.
This is the first step. We still have a Court of Appeal and a Supreme Court. So from the outset, we knew that if we win, they will go on appeal. And we know that if it goes this way, we will go on appeal.
The petitioners have 14 days to file an appeal, which should be dispensed within the next 60 days. Emanuela Ekele, Channels Television News.
Away from the courts, the presidency seemed to have no answers to questions by Nigerians about the whereabouts of the nation's #1 citizen, President Bola Tinubu, as he has not returned from, did not come up with a pronouncement over his location. President Bola Tinubu's whereabouts had been top secret after the conclusion of his engagement at the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York. There's been no response from the presidency to inquiries about the president's location. Neither has there been any official statement from his spokesperson. There has, however, been reports that he left New York for France. The purpose of that trip is also not officially stated. And the Labour Party's leadership and the Southwest Socio-Cultural Group of Afenifere have thrown their weight behind Labour's planned nationwide strike scheduled for the next Tuesday, that's October the 3rd. Barring any changes, however, it is 5 more days to go that the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress will shut down the nation to embark on protests if the Tinubu administration fails to address the suffering and other socio-economic hardships occasioned by the removal of subsidy on petrol, also known as fuel. The day after that pronouncement, the Labour Party in a statement said it fully supports NLC's move after following with keen interest. They say various meetings between organized labor and government bodies, including the President of the Senate, the Presidency, and the Ministers of Labor, had not yielded any positive results. Part of the statement signed by the Policy Secretary Obiora Ilo reads, Labour Party is surprised that the government claimed that it has removed subsidies on petroleum products and that it now generates over ₦1 trillion monthly, yet it finds it difficult to address workers' demands. In the same vein, the leader of the Afenifere, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, says the group opposes the neoliberal economic policies which it says currently being pushed by the government and calls for welfare economics instead. While backing Labour's proposed strike, the group asked government and those in power to come down from their ostentatious lifestyles, saying that since the removal of the subsidy on petrol and other economic policies hastily pronounced without planning, for the collateral effects, the Nigerian masses have been abysmally pauperized. And now to help us look at these matters and to discuss some of these issues, a member of the House of Representatives representing Okpe, Sapele Uwe constituency, federal constituency of Delta State. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Ben Benateme.
Thank you very much.
I hope I pronounced it anyway.
Etana Bene.
Etana Bene. Thank you for joining us this morning. Mr. Etana Bene, what's your view about the proposed NLC-TUC strike?
It's a sad development, no doubt about that. We shouldn't be getting that kind of vibes, now in Nigeria. People are really in very difficult situations, and to compound issues, strike, worsen the situation for us. So it's not a happy moment, and I think something else should be done to avert that strike as fast as possible.
Okay, but the demands that organized labor has put out, do you think they are worth looking into?
Of course, certainly. Nobody is pretending in this country anymore. The rich, the poor, the middle, everybody is facing the hardship. And what they are asking for is, even to my mind, personally, what government should be even doing without being told.
So shouldn't they also give government time to get into these things? Because it looks like a heavy demand, so to speak.
No, they are not heavy.
I mean, given the time frame.
Okay.
One would think that these demands need time to be looked into.
No, there are some that should have been done by yesterday. The way I see it, should be done by yesterday. I was listening to the TUC president when he was making that announcement for the strike. And you will notice that he used one word, that government is deliberately ignoring them. The first thing you do in labor is to have negotiations, keep talking. Once you get labor to talk and continue to talk, tensions would obviously reduce. But government is not talking with them. One of the demands I also saw is the repair of the refineries. I mean, that is what we should have done yesterday. We shouldn't be talking about that. We don't need anybody to be telling government that go and fix your refinery. That is even the real problem of this subsidy, petroleum and everything, going on.
Mr. Tanapeni, but you do know that some members of organized labor are the ones working in the refineries. And there have been allegations that they are the ones sabotaging even the repairs of the refineries.
No. See, this discussion, to me, I was a branch chairman of Pengasin, 1999 to 2003. So this argument of why the refinery is not working, has been on the table for all of us all this while. If you ask the workers, they will tell you it's a political decision. They will not tell you they are not ready. They cannot be receiving salary for many years coming now, and we are talking about refineries not working. These are qualified people that can fix that refinery, get it to work. But the political will of government to get it to work is the problem.
So is it a question of foreign engineers coming to, expatriates coming to fix it, or our own people fixing it?
Our people are competent enough. I worked in the Petroleum Training Institute for 33 years. So I know we train people, to work, in the refinery. I personally also was in the oil industry in the 80s and until now. So we have competent people to work. This refinery is not just being built. It has been there all these years. It has produced before. So what has happened? The same set of people, even better trained engineers, are the ones even managing it now. So I have no doubt in my mind that it can work with the crop of people there. But government just need to put the political will and push to get it to work.
Okay, so we do know that the Speaker is prevailing on organized labor to shelve the strike. But is that all that the House of Representatives can do?
I really pity his situation. He was very passionate. I was on the floor 2 days ago when he made that appeal. He was very passionate. And of course, he said we shouldn't, do things to increase the already, bad situation. The House is taking it seriously. And I'm sure within the next few days, a few things will be done, from the angle of the Speaker to see how best we can avoid this strike.
Okay, so apart from reaching out and saying, please shelve your strike, you're saying that there are some backdoor things happening.
That is the quality.
I wouldn't want to shed light on that.
That is the quality of Tajuddin Abbas. You know, he likes doing things quietly.
So, since you won't shed light on those backdoor channels that are being followed, what are you telling Nigerians right now as regards this matter?
My first appeal, will be to government itself. Government must get them to talk and continue to talk. The people who are managing labor, today are Nigerians. They know the problem. They are pushed to the wall. It's difficult as a labor leader when you go to talk to government or your employers, then you don't have anything to talk to your members about. You make 10 demands and no one is answered and nobody is talking to you. It's always difficult. So naturally they will go the last force of strike. So I don't encourage. I will plead for the strike not to continue, but I will also to ask that government should keep talking to them and see the demands they can take off, from the many they have put on the table.
But you know that many Nigerians does not believe labor means well, because every point in time are going on strike, and then some actually will tell you that please leave these labor people. They always go behind and settle themselves, and then they're coming out here to make noise. I
very, very admire.
You've heard this before?
Yeah, many times. Yeah. And we've been in the business also too, but it's not like that. It's not true, But this boy in particular, this Ajero boy in particular, I see something unique about him. He's a very, very serious-minded person, and he walks the talk. So that's why I'm even scared about the threat, to go on strike. I know it's real. I know it's real.
Okay, so Nigerians are being patient. I know you said something there about, just before we let you go, that you're appealing to government, right, to do what... there are many who are concerned. Where is our president? Have you asked about the whereabouts of the president?
President went to a summit somewhere in nature, finished and went to
the US for hunger.
Yes, and probably has finished and is cooling off somewhere. The president is not missing. Certainly, is not missing.
Okay.
He will come, and continue the business of. I'm very sure that this proposed strike, he'll be thinking of coming back very soon.
What would you think the president would do as soon as he comes in that he hasn't already done? If you were in his shoes, what would you do?
I call these guys straight on. The labor guys, I just call them straight on. It seemed that all those committees, all those people saddled with the responsibility of talking to these people are not doing the right thing. See, labor business is unique in itself. It's a training of its own. It's like the business of the court. Also, too, some are making demands, the other ones are defending. So you need to know the kind of methodology to tackle, these guys. And it's not all fighting all the time. Listening to them is very important. We have come to the point where the president himself should be the one talking to them.
Mr. Sanabeni, you occupy a very unique position. You're a Nigerian, you've worked in labor, you've been in labor, and you're now representing Nigerians in the House of Representatives and all of that. What would you do if you're in the shoes of labor on one side, or you're the Nigerian on the other side, or as a House of Representatives? So you have 3 answers there to give.
Well, first, I'm a Nigerian first before becoming a member of...
So just answer us in that order.
Okay. As labor, I will still give more time. I will allow the president to come back, or put pressure, see that we come to the table and discuss these issues. As a Nigerian, I would wish the government, to agree, and implement some of the demands from labor. Life is harder than ever, in Nigeria today. You see that, they are talking about salaries for university teachers. I mean, that is not too much to do. If you've worked, you should get your pay. They're talking about fixing refineries to lower the hardship so that we do some internal. So all these stories of subsidies and all those palliative, we shouldn't be talking about them. It won't get us anywhere. The refinery is about the best, place where we can, do that. Sometimes I do suggest that we should not be destroying all those modular refineries and illegal refineries in the creek. No. Those guys, if they are well regulated, the Petroleum Training Institute is there. If they are well regulated, those guys can produce 20% of local needs, for us. It's just about the environmental, problems that can be taken care of. So I would wish that government does all these things, to get us, in a better state. And as a member of the House of Rep, I know Nigerians don't like us right now, because of, they just believe we are not getting the problems. We are feeling the heat, also I can assure everybody about that. We are feeling the heat, and we'll continue to see how best we can balance the interests of government and that of the Nigerian.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ben Etanabeni, who's a member of the House of Representatives representing Okpe, Sapele, Wike Federal Constituency of Delta State, and a member of the Labour Party.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in today.
My
we'll be back on Lunchtime Politics. Just stay with us.
It's engaging, fascinating, and insightful. Join us as we connect with the global community of Nigerians around the world. We talk about life in the diaspora, flying the Nigerian flag, their culture, socio-political activities, and survival stories on Channels Television.
Britain is quite a racist country, and where they see asylum seekers on the street and they have a very poor opinion of them.
Diaspora Network, engaging diasporans for development.
You may call it a note of warning for residents in the nation's commercial nerve center. The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has announced zero tolerance to commercial activities along the Red Rail Line. Governor Sanwo-Olu made the comments during an assessment tour of the Red Rail Line project corridor from Agbado through Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Yaba, and Ebutemeta stations. He says the red lines will be barricaded with concrete to prevent encroachment and destruction of the transport infrastructure by people.
The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, set out to inspect the Red Line rail station. His first stop is the Agbado rail line. It takes time to inspect the ongoing project, where he is greeted by residents of the area. Next stop is Iju Station. He moves around the facility to see what has been put in place. In the Agege area, the governor warns traders to stop all forms of business activities on the rail tracks. The Red Line rail is aligned at Ebutemeta, within the premises of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. Governor Sanwo-Olu says it has the capacity to take over 1,000 passengers per trip.
There's still some work that we need to do, especially around cleaning up all of the illegal activity that are being conducted on the rail track, which shouldn't be, and some final approach around pedestrian bridges that we need to clean up and we need to finish, and general cleaning up of all of the stations are still part of the things that we need to do. Regarding the passenger capacity, I'm sure if you look at the strength and the length, they will take not less than 1,000 passengers at once.
He says the project deadline is on track and appeals for federal government support to complete other rail infrastructure.
We have conversation, around buying more rolling stock. We're having conversations on the green and purple line. I need to also mention this. Most nations that are building rail infrastructure, it's usually taken up by their national government. We're about the only one that is carrying this burden all on our own. So if the federal government, if they support us, we will take their support so that we can do these things a lot more quicker and faster. We believe that we're still on track, to see how we can finish before the end of this year.
The Lagos State government assures residents of opening the Yaba and Ikeja flyovers next month to ease traffic congestion within the metropolis.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, has approved the immediate termination of their appointment of 21 heads of parastatals, agencies and government companies of the FCT administration. A statement by his Director of Press, Office of the Minister, Anthony Ogunleye, explains that Mr. Wike ordered the affected appointees to hand over the affairs of their offices to the most senior officers in rank, although no reason was given for the mass sack. Since assuming office as Minister of the FCT, the former governor of Rivers State has taken major steps in line with his stated resolve to bring about reforms in the FCT administration. The measures include the demolition of illegal structures and revocation of lands for delayed development. The Cross River State Governor, Mr. Basi Otu has promised to collaborate with the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, to curb criminal activities. The governor was speaking in Calabar, the state capital, during a familiarization visit by the new commandant of the Corps alongside other key stakeholders to the governor. According to the governor, the state will provide all that is needed to aid the Corps carry out their duties effectively. Responding to the governor, the commandant promised that the Corps will do all it can to ensure that the state gets back its lost glory.
You are the closest to civilian populace of every paramilitary. And even though the synergy has not been taken to the level that it's supposed to, but I want to give you the assurance that in this particular dispensation, we are going to step that up. The SINA and the Intelligence Service Department of the Corps must be ready to actually step up its efforts. We've been fighting security challenges very, very seriously. I believe that kinetic action alone will not settle it. We do need some elements of friendliness in terms of civil defense moving right into the frontier, because people will not see you as an enemy immediately. We need those informations to take these security threats out of our state.
Governor of Taraba State, Abu Kefas, says he has resolved to root out every activity of bandits and kidnapping to ensure the state takes its rightful place and ready for development. This, according to the governor, follows observed surge in criminal activities over the month, which he believes strengthening of the security measures will assist in taming. He was speaking when he met with representatives of the Christian Association of Nigeria and the Muslim community in Jalingo, the state capital.
I have resolved to root out every banditry and criminal activities in Taraba State. And I will not go back from my decision until I say the end. And we will not rest until every criminal is brought to justice. So we'll continue to strengthen security measures and ensure that the full weight of this law is applied. And that is why I want us to work together as a team. I want us to agree together. I want us to understand together and see these as our own problems, not just the problem of the government, but every one of us problems, so that we can have peace.
For more stories and others, check out our website, channelstv.com. But for now, you've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Thanks for watching. I'm Neota Igwe.